Can I see your ID, sir?
My ID?
Yes.
Why do you need my ID?
We're making contact with you. I'd like to.
Oh, I don't know. Unless I've committed a crime, I don't have to show you my ID. I don't have any obligation to identify myself to you unless I commit a crime.
What's your name?
I'm not going to give you that either. It's the same as giving you my ID.
Okay.
Right. I have no obligation to identify myself to you.
All right.
If you suspect me of a crime, then we can go from there.
So we got a bunch of people here.
Okay.
They feel alarmed and disturbed.
Okay. I hear you.
I understand what you're trying to do here.
Okay.
Okay.
Today's body cam captures one of the most common and controversial encounters in modern policing. A First Amendment auditor refusing to identify himself while recording inside a government building. Within minutes, the conversation turns into a legal battle over constitutional rights, disorderly conduct, trespassing, privacy expectations, and the authority of police officers to demand identification. The biggest question isn't simply who was right or wrong. The real question is whether recording government employees can legally become disorderly conduct, and whether refusing to identify yourself during that investigation can create additional legal problems. Let's break this encounter down section by section.
And they called us here.
Okay, gotcha.
So I understand what you're doing, but you have to understand too, we have to do our job.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
And what's your job? Your job is to uphold my right. You swore an oath to the Constitution.
All right, sir. So based on what's been going on here, there are now customers here who are advising us that they're being alarmed and disturbed by your presence. Therefore, you are now suspected of disorderly conduct. I need you to present me with your ID, please.
So somebody complaining that I'm exercising my constitutional right is me causing a disturbance. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying on camera? Okay.
It's multiple people, not just one person.
Okay, but you do understand that. Let me show you this. This might
Right
help
now,
you.
I'm asking you for your identification.
Well, I don't have my ID on me.
What's
Yeah.
your name?
The only way I'm going to identify myself is if you articulate what crime I've committed.
Disorderly conduct.
Okay, in which way?
You are disturbing this gentleman's peace.
The encounter starts with the citizen immediately challenging the officer's authority. He repeatedly says, "I don't have to identify myself unless I've committed a crime." This is a common legal position among First Amendment auditors. Here's what's happening. The officer wants identification. The citizen wants reasonable suspicion of a crime before complying. The legal issue depends heavily on state law. Some states have stop and identify statutes allowing officers to demand identification during a lawful investigative detention. Other states provide much stronger protections against compulsory identification. At this stage, both parties are essentially arguing about whether reasonable suspicion exists.
Disturbing his peace.
Yes, and he's alarmed and disturbed by your behavior. And
Just recording.
well, we're now beyond recording. Now we're getting.
So what did I do to disturb his peace? My lawyer needs to know that. What did I do to
That's why I asked you to turn around, which you did. But he's still yelling.
So I'm the reason why he's yelling. I'm making him yell. I can control what he does. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you could control it because he wouldn't yell if you turned the video off.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I believe that.
Like,
Secretary of State, I just spoke with him.
Yeah.
Secretary of State, Sergeant advised me that there's sensitive documents being passed around, like social security numbers,
Okay.
driver's license numbers, things that people don't want shared in the public, which
Okay.
is why they have those signs. And
Okay.
they do. The Secretary
Well, I'm
of State
just-
is en route.
yeah.
Let me talk first
Yeah.
before you read up your statement. Okay. They're en route, and they said that they do have a statute that falls under, and if you're not
okay.
going to abide by
No,
it-
I need to see it. Remember what I said when I first walked in here? Show me the statute. If there's a statute behind it, I don't break the law. If that's a law, I will leave. I don't break
Right
the law.
now, the law they're suggesting you broke is disorderly conduct.
Okay.
I advised you when I first came here
Okay.
that you were disrupting the orderly business of this establishment.
This is where the encounter becomes much more interesting. The officer tells the citizen that multiple people have complained and are alarmed by his behavior. Because of those complaints, he says the citizen is now suspected of disorderly conduct. The citizen immediately pushes back. He asks, "Simply exercising my constitutional rights is disorderly conduct?" That's an important question. Generally speaking, people cannot be arrested merely because others dislike protected speech or recording. However, disorderly conduct laws often involve conduct that intentionally causes public alarm, disturbance, or disruption. The challenge for officers is separating protected activity from actual criminal behavior. The citizen is forcing the officer to articulate exactly what conduct crossed that line.
Everything is recorded. That's fine. This is a U.S. appeals court ruling. Simons versus United States, 390 U.S. 377, 1968.
Constitutional law.
Wait, the claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. A denial of them will be a denial of due process law.
Yeah, you're not being arrested
Right.
for recording.
Okay.
That's what you're
Is
missing.
this not
Right, but-
You're being investigated for disorderly conduct.
Okay, so
That's a criminal law.
okay.
That's not constitutional.
Okay,
What you're claiming is constitutional with the video camera. Okay, so be
Right,
it.
right.
We'll let Secretary of State handle that part.
Okay.
What we're telling you is we're here for the criminal part, which is the disorderly conduct.
Okay.
The gentleman out here has said multiple times he's came up here and told you to stop recording him.
Okay.
All right, and every time you swing the camera, he's feeling that he's violated.
So you understand?
I mean, I know it's funny for you. but
No,
it's not
no,
funny
no.
for
The
him.
reason it's funny is he has no expectation of privacy in public. He's in public.
The discussion then shifts away from disorderly conduct and toward recording inside the DMV. The officers explain that sensitive documents are being handled inside the building. Social security numbers, driver's license information, private records. The citizen responds with another legal argument. He says capturing information isn't illegal. Using that information for criminal purposes would be illegal. He's also arguing that people generally have limited expectations of privacy in public areas. The officers, meanwhile, are concerned that citizens conducting government business may have private information exposed. This creates a conflict between transparency and privacy. Both are legitimate governmental interests.
If I was at his house or his property, it's different. He's in public. No one has
But
expectation of privacy in public.
he's
though.
here where he's presenting sensitive documents that he doesn't want on camera, and which is why the Secretary of State has these signs saying, please no recording.
Okay, and do you also know that just capturing sensitive information on camera is not a crime? What is a crime is what you do with that information. Just simply capturing it on camera is not a crime whatsoever.
So, but now you'd be in possession of information.
That is still not a crime. It's if I use that information and do something illegal, then it becomes a crime. But simply capturing stuff. What? Look around. There's a bunch of cameras here. There's a bunch of cameras here, right?
These are under the control of the Secretary of State and State of
Which I can fire it. I can get those footage.
And
Any
this
member of the
time,
public can.
any sensitive information would be redacted.
Okay, right. But first of all, no one here has a proof that I've recorded anyone's information. And like I said, even if I inadvertently captured anything on camera, that's not a crime in itself. What's a crime is if I use that information.
What we're doing now is you're sidetracking us. I'm looking for your identification.
Okay, well, I don't have my ID on
Okay,
me.
well then, my
One interesting aspect of this encounter is that the citizen doesn't simply argue emotionally. He starts citing court decisions. He references the principle that exercising a constitutional right cannot itself become a crime. He also references appellate decisions protecting the right to record public officials performing their duties. Whether every citation perfectly applies to this specific situation is a separate legal question. But strategically, he's trying to frame the entire encounter around constitutional protections rather than local regulations. The officers refuse to debate constitutional law. Instead, they keep returning to the criminal investigation they're conducting. This is a common dynamic in these encounters. One side argues constitutional principles. The other focuses on immediate enforcement authority.
partner's going to grab your name, your birthday, your address,
And-
your phone number. And if you refuse, then
Okay,
because I
you
know
pre-
that was going to be your next
Okay,
question, right?
yes.
Your next, refuse to present these documents, you will now be obstructing investigation.
Okay.
So again, now I go back and ask you, what is your end goal here?
My end goal is when I first walked in here, right? Like I said, the first thing she said was shut the camera off and get out. So my goal here is to educate. Is to educate public employees that the members of the public have the right to be in public and document the activities of their public employees, right? Turner versus Driver is a U.S. Circuit Court or U.S. Appeals Court ruling that says that members of the public have the right to record public officials in the course of their duties,
Okay.
right? And that's what I'm doing here.
But you're also recording people,
Right,
citizens
people
who
in-
have an expectation of privacy.
People in public. That's what you're doing.
The officers then return to their original objective. They want identification. When the citizen says he doesn't have physical ID, they ask for his name, date of birth, address, and phone number. They warn him that refusing could become obstruction of an investigation. The citizen continues asking a simple question. What crime have I committed? This becomes the central conflict of the encounter. If the underlying detention is lawful, some jurisdictions may require identification. If the detention itself lacks legal justification, the citizen's refusal could be protected. This is exactly the kind of issue courts often end up reviewing.
You understand? People in public.
Where they're passing.
It's no different from me being outside recording. It's no different. You know, it's the only thing that restricts my right to do what I'm doing is time, place, and manner. Those are the only three things that restrict my right to record anywhere in the public. If there was a sign that says this is restricted, do not enter. And if I do that, then that's a crime. But just being in a place that I'm allowed to be in and recording cannot be construed as
Sir,
into a
just so
crime.
you know, I have to tell you from Sergeant Flores, the
Yeah.
Secretary of State Police, badge number 0995.
Okay.
You've been formally trespassed in this establishment.
Formally? Okay.
Sergeant Flores, Secretary of State Police, badge number
Oh yeah.
0995.
Okay. I'm not gonna stay here if you tell me I'm trespassed, but I need the formal trespass, and I'm gonna leave
That comes in the form of a citation.
in the form of a citation.
Yes.
No, the way the trespass law works is you have to tell someone to leave.
Okay, well, Sergeant Flores just told me
Okay.
to tell you later.
Then I'll leave. I would leave. All right. Then you can deal with my lawyer later.
That's fine.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good day.
All right. You too.
The citizen finally explains his purpose. He says his goal is education. He believes public employees should understand that citizens have the right to record government officials performing public duties. He also explains that time, place, and manner restrictions can legally limit recording. This is an important distinction. First Amendment isn't unlimited. Governments can impose reasonable restrictions on when, where, and how expressive activity occurs, especially inside government facilities.
Inside public place.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. I informed them that Sergeant Flores is inside this trespassing.
How you doing?
Good. I'm good.
My name's Dan.
What's your badge number?
643.
Nice to meet you.
Last name Shanahan.
Right. Are you the supervisor?
Deputy Chief.
Deputy. Oh, nice to meet you. Good. So, I'm sure he just explained to you
Yeah.
that the Secretary of State Police told him that I couldn't be in here,
Correct.
right? And so, my question is, I have the right to be in here and record.
So
Is that right?
this
Okay.
is the situation.
Okay.
The DMV has changed their operation. So
Okay.
technically, is it a public building? Yes, it is. But they're by appointment only.
Okay.
So if you do not have an appointment, you are not allowed to be in. So if you want to go in there and videotape one day, you make an appointment, you can videotape. But if you don't have any business in there, we're going to go through this whole thing.
Okay. Well, he just told me.
Suddenly, the encounter changes direction. A Secretary of State police sergeant formally tells the citizen he's trespassed from the property. The citizen's reaction is notable. He doesn't argue, he doesn't resist. He simply says he'll leave. This is often a smart legal decision. Trespass laws generally become stronger once someone has been clearly told to leave and refuses. By complying, he avoids creating an entirely new criminal issue. The deputy chief provides what may be the clearest explanation of the entire encounter. He says the DMV has changed its operations. It's now appointment only. Yes, it's a public building, but access is limited to people conducting official business. He explains that someone without an appointment isn't authorized to simply enter and record. He also says the citizen can film outside as much as he wants. If he has legitimate DMV business in the future, he can return for that purpose. This shifts the discussion away from constitutional recording rights and toward access restrictions. Many government buildings operate as limited public forums, meaning access rules can be lawfully imposed if they're applied fairly.
That I'm trespassed from here.
If you make it, yeah, I would not come back here. There's plenty of DMVs elsewhere. But if you've got official business, if you want to get a license, I can say you can come back here.
Okay.
As long as you're doing your business.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
If you're getting a license, you're getting an ID, whatever, you're taking your kid for his permit, which I just did with mine.
Okay.
All right. But just to come here and videotape, you have the right to do all the videotaping you want outside.
Yeah.
But because
So, who had the stronger legal argument? The citizen was probably correct that recording public officials generally enjoys First Amendment protection. He was also correct that merely recording someone in a public place isn't automatically a crime. The officers were correct that complaints from citizens can justify an investigation under certain circumstances. They were also entitled to address concerns about disruptions inside a government facility. The strongest argument for the government may not have been disorderly conduct at all. It may have been the building's access policy. If the DMV truly operated by appointment only, and the citizen had no official business there, restricting access could be legally defensible regardless of recording activity. One interesting detail is that the deputy chief relied on the appointment policy rather than continuing to argue disorderly conduct. That suggests the property access issue may have been the cleaner legal path. This body cam highlights an important reality about constitutional encounters. Rights often exist alongside reasonable restrictions. Citizens have broad protections to record government officials. Government agencies have legitimate interests in protecting sensitive information and maintaining orderly operations. The encounter ultimately ends peacefully because neither side forces a physical confrontation. The citizen leaves after being told he's trespassed, and the officers avoid escalating the situation into an arrest. Whether you agree with the citizen, the officers, or somewhere in between, this body cam is a reminder that understanding the law and clearly communicating the legal basis for your actions can make the difference between a routine encounter, and a constitutional dispute that ends up in court. Overall body cam assessment. Citizen's strongest point. First Amendment right to record and demanding a clearly articulated legal basis for detention. Officer's strongest point. Maintaining order in a government facility and enforcing access restrictions. Turning point of the encounter. The deputy chief's explanation that the DMV was operating by appointment only, shifting the issue from recording rights to lawful access to the building. Key takeaway for viewers. Many body cam disputes are not decided by a single constitutional principle, but by how multiple legal rules, speech, privacy, disorderly conduct, identification laws, and trespass interact in a specific setting.